Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Are you an introvert? So many VAs tell me that they are. It's not a deficiency of any sort, really, but it can make some things that we do in business feel more challenging or more difficult. Sales is one of those things, and getting clients is one of those things. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The quote today is from Bill Gross, and he says, "I would admit I'm an introvert. I don't know why introverts have to apologize." Isn't that a neat quote? I think that we give ourselves, well, there's nothing wrong with being an introvert for one thing. Like I say, it's not a bad quality. It's simply a thing, right? It's a type of personality or the way we conduct ourselves or mindset and all of those kinds of things. But I do think that introverts kind of get a bad rap. But you know what? I think we criticize ourselves far more than anybody else does. We make excuses for ourselves. Yes, I am an introvert, which a lot of people probably find a little bit hard to believe because I know I'm out there a lot and I do a lot of video and I do a lot of socializing and networking and that type of thing. But I love my alone time and I need my quiet time. And as much as I enjoy company, we entertain an awful lot at our house and certainly in business I'm hosting a lot of different people and things at different times. I like it when it's over too. And so I think there are probably different levels of introversion. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. But I think when we relate it to business and we look at things and we say, the things that we need to do in business, they can be made more difficult by being an introvert. And mainly that's because we are making the excuse for it, right? There are lots of different ways that we can get things done. And frankly, if you find sales hard and you're using the excuse that you're an introvert because you don't like to sell yourself, the interesting thing is you don't have to sell anything in your business. You're not trying to cold call people or convince them that they need your services. You don't need to educate clients on the value of working with a virtual assistant. And really, I talk to a lot of VAs who seem to think they need to do this, introvert or not. And it makes it so much harder to get clients. I was going to say to sell yourself. See, we even use the words, even the word sales or selling myself. I find it really hard to sell myself. That's a lot of virtual assistants tell me that whenever they are struggling in their business. That's what they say. I don't like to sell myself. I hate selling myself. And I think that those are definitely words that we want to retire from our vocabulary because you're not selling somebody something that they don't need. And I think this is one really, really important thing that gets missed a lot. So you need to find them first, whether that's a local group or an online group or somebody that your family or friends or next door neighbor or something like that knows and can tell about you. They can tell them, call Tracy for XYZ services. But then that's only the first part. The second part is that you get to decide whether they're a good fit for you because not everybody is. I've turned away a lot of referrals because they weren't able to support my rate with their budget. Their budget was too low, or their personality was not a good fit, or their work style, or the number of hours that they needed, or sort of the level of work that they needed. Whatever it is was not a good fit for me. And although it's really it makes a lot of sense for us to never turn business down, that's exactly what we're allowed to do. We get to make the decisions around whether or not somebody is a good fit for us. So those are those two things. You need to find the people that do need your help and decide if they're a good fit to work with you. And those are the two things you need to do. That's it. You don't have to sell anybody. You don't have to educate anybody. You don't have to cold call anyone. It really is that simple to get clients. But we talk ourselves out of so many things with the excuse that it feels uncomfortable or that it's hard or that it's not working the way it should be for us, right? And all that really means is that we're in the wrong place or we're talking to the wrong person. And so the key, and I want to really, really put a lot of emphasis on this, is to find the right person in the right place. And as difficult as that may sound, if you're struggling to find really good clients right now, here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about our strengths as introverts. And one of those things is that we are very, very focused. We're very good at focusing, and we're very good at being detail oriented. Oftentimes, introverts are very good at research. And guess what? To find the right person in the right place, use those skills. Okay. Think about it when you are looking for something for a client. And maybe not everybody's good at research, but in general, a lot of the virtual assistants who tell me that they're introverts, um, they are generally telling me that they're also very good at research. They love it and they're really, really good at it. So use the skills that you have. We'll talk about some strengths in just a second, but I want you to use the things that you're really good at. Think about if a client were to ask you to find them XYZ, whether it's clients or something like that. You know that you could do that very, very well because you would set up a certain number of parameters, you would set aside a certain amount of time, you would look in all the best places, you would track the results that you're getting because you know that you are looking for results, right? And you're looking for the ROI for that client. You want to make sure that well, this place isn't good, so I'm going to move on to something else. All of the things that you would do for a client in that instance, looking for that thing that they've asked you to source for them or to find for them, that's exactly what you want to do to find that right person in the right place for yourself. You want to take on that exact task and do it in the best way that you would do it for a client, but do it for yourself. Okay. And that is one of our strengths as introverts. And I have a good list here of other strengths as that introverts have. Introverts are often more creative. I, that's not me. It's kind of funny that I put that one first on the list. I did some research of my own, and that one comes up. But that is a good thing. If you're a creative, if you're very good at making, the documents, the presentations, the graphics, and all those kinds of things, that can be a really good feather in your cap as one of the things that you are good at doing. Often better listeners. That's me. I've got that covered. There's no problem. As a VA coach and trainer, I think that listening is a really, really good quality to have. So that is something that I think I excel at, and I know a lot of people tell me that I do. We're more observant. Sometimes, whenever you're not the one who's talking or thinking about what to say next, which I've also been accused of doing from one of my HR representatives a long time ago, I was giving a lot of advice, and she suggested that I active listen as opposed to what she sort of called passive listening, where she said you're just waiting for the other person to stop talking so that you can start talking again. And there's a lot of people out there like that, right? So we are more observant. And so sometimes that means that we jump the gun and talk a little bit too quickly. But what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to really listen and reflect and say, okay, this is what needs to happen next. It's an excellent quality as an introvert as long as you use it well. We can go deeper on many projects. One of the interesting things that came up in my research for this session was that a lot of people who are extroverts are just happy with the surface level stuff and say, great, we've got that, move along, move along, move along. And I found this to be a really interesting, I think, strength as an introvert, is that we do sort of have that stick to itiveness. And, there's pros and cons to everything. We don't want to spend ages and ages doing research on something or never making a decision. But I think it is really good to be able to say, you commit and you go deeper on some projects, and you can get more value out of what you're putting out there for the clients. Often we will stand out because we aren't the ones who are always talking. I know that in a lot of different social situations, when somebody is a talker, I just shut them out, right? I stop listening because it's just too much. And so when somebody does speak up who doesn't say all that much, and I know I have an uncle who is like that. And well, I think he talks a lot. I guess the two of us talk a lot to each other. But one of my uncles is quite well known for, just coming up and saying the right thing at the right time because he's sitting back and reflecting. And I think that's probably an introverted quality that he has as well. Introverts are very good at taking social cues and reading rooms. So when you're thinking about who it is that you want to connect with, or what a good person is, and I guess that kind of extends into to networking a little bit too, and saying, is that person a good fit? You can see whether that personality trait is going to be a good fit for your business or for your clients, of course. We are thoughtful and we choose our words wisely. One of the things I get a lot of I get a lot of my goodness, my words are failing me sometimes. Um, my clients are happy with. My clients tell me I do well. See, we can think on our feet too, us introverts. My clients tell me that I'm very, very good at business communication. And a lot of the time that I was working with my 6 and 7 figure business coaches who were my clients, I was doing customer service for them. And customer service, of course, especially with high level coaching programs, comes with a lot of money, right? People are paying a lot of money to get support from the coach. And so my role was to manage payments, manage, people who were stressed out and nervous about the investment that they were making and those kinds of things. And they always told me, many of my clients told me that I did it exceptionally well. I was very, very good at handling the people and filling that role that was, between the coach and the client, because I was able to choose my words wisely. I'm very, very cautious. I mean, you saw maybe you didn't listen to the business communication episode that I did for the podcast. Go back and listen to that. When we really focus on brilliant business communication, that's one of the things that we do, is that we stop and we edit and we're very clear and we're brief and we put all of those things into it so that it's only business, and we don't, we take emotion out of it and all those kinds of things. So choosing words wisely is another big thing. Very focused and detail oriented. This is one of the things that I sort of kicked off with, that we're able to get things done because we're not distracted by a lot of different things as well, because we just don't care. We're like, I'm an introvert and this is what I'm working on, and whatever you're doing, that's fantastic, but this is what I'm doing. We're self-sufficient and we're good problem solvers. One of my reports, I guess you would want to call it, at one of the jobs I had, he used to call me Radar from MASH. Now, if you're talking about MASH, I know I am definitely aging myself whenever I am talking about the TV show MASH. Radar was Colonel Potter's assistant, right? Or I guess just the general assistant. And he always anticipated what Colonel Potter was going to need next. And this is what I often did for a lot of the people that I worked for. In one of the jobs that I had, actually, was I was the national secretary for as the secretary for the national alpine ski team. So the downhill ski, slalom, ski, all that kind of stuff. And so that was an amazing job that I had for a couple of years. But I reported to a lot of different people. I reported to the marketing manager. I reported to the program manager. I reported to the Isfan, was one of the fellow who called me Radar. He was one of the trainers and the sports science director, and I reported to the coaches. There were a lot of different people that I had to report to, and I was always really, really good to handle the things that went wrong in their in the day-to-day stuff, weather or injuries or that type of thing. And so it was really good to be able to predict what was going to happen and be able to help people whenever they were really feeling stressed out, because of course they traveled all over the world. And if they're in another country and they needed something to be delivered to where they were, or somebody to be removed from the situation because they were injured or something like that, we needed to be able to figure those things out on a day-to-day basis, because we didn't really have protocols in place. So anyway, all of those things. So look at all those things, right? More creative, better listener, more observant, go deeper on many subjects, stand out, not always talking, very good at taking social cues and reading rooms, thoughtful and choose words wisely, very focused and detail oriented, self-sufficient, and good problem solvers. Why did I repeat this list? Because I want you to really, really understand that these are your strengths and they are exceptionally valuable, especially in a support role when we are helping other people in their business. These are really, really important qualities. So we're not less than because we're introverts, right? We want to use these things to our advantage. You want to stay true to you, be who you are. They're extremely valuable, and you are extremely valuable. So you want to use these types of things whenever you are talking to your clients, when you're telling your clients what you can bring to the table to help if they want, to hire you. You want to use them in your marketing, and you want to make sure that you believe them, for one thing, and that you're using them. And because if you look at job postings that you see, a lot of them will have these kinds of skills. We're looking for somebody who's dedicated, who's detail oriented, who's looking to work long term with a team, who's self sufficient, who's this and that. And these are the things that we naturally have. And if some of those don't apply to you, like the creative one totally doesn't apply to me, I say that and people go, "You really are creative, though." I'm like, "No, I don't feel like I am." So that's not one of those ones that I believe in. So I'm not going to say I'm creative because I don't feel like I am, but I will choose the other things. And you can add to that list as well to say these are the things that are inherent in my personality. And therefore, I do them really, really well because I do them without even thinking, right? And that's how you stay true to you. So you need to do things at your own pace, but you do make sure that you are doing things to find clients. You can't just sit back and hope that clients will find you. That's not a way to build a business. You don't have to race. You never have to hurry. You can join all of the free challenges and the free trainings or the paid trainings or anything like that you want to learn what you need to do. But you don't have to work at somebody else's pace. I think that that's really important to note. You have to do things that feel natural for you and that feel good for you. Don't feel pressure to go to networking events or do cold calls. I don't do cold calls, and you don't even need to do phone calls. As a matter of fact, I email still works very, very well, and I think for me, I think it's better for everybody's schedule than a phone call or instant messaging. I think that everybody can answer email on their own time, and I think that that's why it's still there, and we have that opportunity to, be clear with our brilliant business communication and be able to write good emails that will help people decide whether they want to work with you or not. But you certainly have to value yourself first so that other people are going to value you. And who you are is who you are. But don't forget that you are great. Okay. Focus on those strengths. And then as we talk about strengths, what are you good at? So aside from all the soft skills and that kind of thing, what services, what tasks, what are you really, really good at? What do you love to do? Or what do you do exceptionally well? That's what you have to focus on, right? What you do best is what you should be charging the most for. You've heard me say this before, and if you haven't, that's a writer downer, guys. What you do best is what you should be charging the most for. Why? Because it comes so naturally to you that you don't even realize that it's valuable, but your clients do. I get people tell me that I'm very organized and, "Oh, you do this so well, you do this so well." And I'm always like, "What? Oh, I just do that. I don't even think about it." And there are things that you can also put on a list for yourself that you do really, really well and that just really come naturally to you. Those are things that other people are jealous of, and they may need your support. They may pay for support to get those things done. So, what do we do to find our clients? First of all, what I want you to do, because if we're not spending all this time networking, right, you have to make sure that you are showcasing your own value. Okay, make sure that you have a very strong presence online. As an introvert, what we want to do is we want to make the things that we are doing in our marketing strategy work for us, so we don't have to be doing a lot of outreach. Now, do I still suggest that you do outreach? Of course. But if it doesn't feel natural to you, or if it really gives you a lot of anxiety, at least you need to make sure that you have the stuff online that's going to work for you. So your website, make it really good, make it really clear, do an excellent job of showcasing what you can do for your clients. You should have a blog. Write on your blog. If you can't have conversations with people, or if you're feeling I hate to say if you can't, I don't want you to not have conversations with people, but if that feels a little bit uncomfortable for you, write blog posts. It's one of the best ways for you to showcase your expertise without having to talk to a single solitary person. But what does it do? It builds up traffic to your website. It gives you stuff that you can promote on your social media. It gives your clients an opportunity to really understand or really see that you understand what they need, right? And obviously, a call to action at the bottom of every blog post is connect with me. Give them a link so that they can actually book a call with you or reach out to you in some way. If you can do social media, portfolio, whatever makes sense for you, whatever that showcase tool is or tools are, you want to make sure that you are doing all of that really, really well. And then it really does tell people how you can help them. Don't try to be somebody else, or don't even try to be like somebody else. For sure, you need to be yourself. And so, whatever you know that people will benefit from your services, that's what you want to be able to put out there. So, your blog is not about being a VA. Your blog is about how you help 6 and 7 figure business coaches with their virtual events and their customer service. Those are the things that I did, and those are the things that I would talk about. So, I could talk about the different CRMs. I could talk about how to onboard a client. I could talk about how to work with a client. I could talk about working with a VA as that barrier in between you and your client. I could talk about with the virtual events, I could talk about the value of them. I could talk about the different systems you can use, tools that make it easier, other things that are must know information about running virtual events, how to do follow up from them, how to incorporate affiliates, or whatever the things are that I know about these two topics, virtual events and customer service for 6 and 7 figure business coaches. That's what I'm putting on my website, my blog, my social media, in a portfolio if necessary. Those are the topics. And when you get really good at that, that's how you can really showcase yourself. If you really believe that you can help people, that's what you write about. That's what you create online. You don't have to all of a sudden be doing TikToks and videos and that kind of thing, but you have to have stuff out there. If you're not the one who's getting out there and putting it out there, you have to have stuff that you're driving traffic to. Okay, it's really, really important. And then the second piece of it is, what do you love about your audience? Not just what can you do for them and how can you help them, but I want you to take a piece of paper and write these things down. What is it that you love about them? What did I love about 6 and 7 figure business coaches? I loved, first of all, that they, were really making a lot of money in their business, and that was inspiring to me. I loved that they were helping people with actual strategies and steps. I was learning a lot of things from them, but also the people that were working with them were learning a lot of things too. I loved that they were this amazing community that relied on each other and that helped each other all the time. So think about all of those things that you love about your audience. Is it what they do, who they work with, the change they make in the world, the tasks they need done? If maybe you love podcast support, and so you love that your particular audience or target audience is doing podcasting, and so you're jazzed about the work that you get to do every day. All of those things, write them down, and those are the things that you are going to write about. And then figure out where your clients are. And this can be challenging, I'm not going to lie. I actually just unjoined a lot of groups yesterday that I have belonged to before in the search for clients. And so sometimes, you're trying to find a needle in the haystack sometimes, but figure out where they are. And then think about how many clients you actually need. If you're looking only to have 3 or 4 clients, then you want to find a really high quality place to connect with them, and you want to work with them. So you don't need to be finding clients every time you turn around, right? But knowing how many clients you need and knowing who they are and where they are is going to determine where you're going to be able to connect with them in the best way. And be sure that you get really clear on what you do best and who you can help most. It's really important. Talk about them, write about them. Those are the important things, and you will get the clarity. What you write and what you have out there will resonate with them, even if it's graphics on Instagram, all of those kinds of things. It will resonate with them if you are in the same place as they are, and you are using the hashtags and you are using the keywords, and they see that you can really support them. That's what social media is really good for, right? It's also really great for introverts because you do it on your own time, and you have complete control over what you put out there. But my advice around your marketing is to choose one thing that is going to work for you, or that you can put your all into, and do it well. And when you are looking to do your marketing, especially if you're not networking all day long, it should be really easy to be able to create the content that you need to help describe what it is that you're doing. So where do we find clients? Let me see. I've got a couple of, I think, 5 little tips here for you. Where can you find clients? You know, I'm not a big fan of job boards. I tell people that job boards are not the way to build your business, but for introverts, I know that it's one place. It's generally the first place that we go. Fiverr, Upwork, all those kinds of places, any of the job boards, Canva, um, Iva, VA Networking, um, Freelance U, all have job boards, and you can go there. Now, usually competition is pretty stiff for a lot of these places because that's where, people are often paying for the opportunity to be a part of them, right? But the nice thing is that people are looking for help right now. And so what does that mean? That means there's less sales for you to have to do. So when they say, I need help with this, you can make that decision and say, yes, I need help with it. So job boards are going to be good for you as long as you're using them well. I like to stay away from the VA groups that invite the clients into them because I think the competition is ridiculous in those. And I think that you can't showcase yourself well enough. I think that sometimes it's a matter of I'm spending all day long in this VA group because on the off chance that a client will actually ask, put a job posting, I want to be the first one to be in it. And to me, that's a total waste of your time. I would rather have you showcase yourself in front of a much better audience. Not to say that there aren't good clients in those groups, but in general, they're really, really oversaturated with, obviously, with VAs, but also with clients looking for very fast and often very cheap support. Another place to find clients is to tell people you know what you do and ask them if they know anybody who might benefit from your help. It helps to have business connections in this particular case, like, to the people that I'm talking about that you can tell. But family and friends can also help too. The key with asking anybody or sending your information to anybody and saying, here's what I do. Do you know anybody who might be interested or might need my help? You have to be able to articulate what it is that you do accurately. I've gotten sent a lot of bad referrals, but I never blamed the person who sent the referral. I blamed myself because I didn't give them the proper information to be able to say, oh no, that's not what Tracy does. This is what Tracy does. And so this is, why you should call her. So you want to make sure that you are asking people to send others your way. Again, the more people that you trust that you're talking to, the less people you have to talk to that you don't know. And as an introvert, that can be really challenging. Another thing is to focus on repeat business. So don't try not to do project work. I'm not saying don't do it, but try not to do project work. Seek out ongoing work with clients so that you don't have to constantly look for new clients. I love the VAs who, do website work and because they are introverts and they're constantly looking for clients. I'm like, why would you want to do that to yourself? I don't like looking for clients all the time. I like my long-term clients. And so that was actually one of the things that drew me to the 6 and 7 figure business coaches, is that they were really working very hard to be in business and to stay in business, and they were pulling out all the stops with their marketing and with all the things that they were doing, and they were bringing in a lot of clients, and so they were working a lot. And that meant ongoing work for me. It's appealing to me to not keep looking for more clients. So focus on repeat business and ongoing business. And don't be afraid if you have, if you're doing one thing with a client, if you ask them for more work, right? You can always build up what it is that you're doing. You have an existing relationship with them. You can also ask existing or past clients for referrals. Be sure again that they really understand what it is that you do for them, especially if it differs from what you are doing for that client. I know I had a literary agent or a literary editor, pardon me, literary editor. Anyway, my goodness. Words make me laugh sometimes. I worked with an editor in New York City and a publishing consultant. She wasn't a literary anything, so that's what made me giggle about it. So I suppose she was, but her title was publishing consultant. And so what I did for her was very different than what I did for the business coaches that I worked with. And so for her to send me referrals, I needed to be really clear that I didn't need any more publishing consultants. I mean, I certainly could have worked with them, but my chosen niche was, the business coaches. And so I had to make it really clear to her who I was looking for. And she sent me all kinds of business. So that was really amazing as well. So Let me see. Yeah, so they send you good referrals. And another thing that I think a lot of VAs find a little bit foreign is my last tip is find a few strategic partners who work with your target market but provide different services to them. So you're both targeting the same people. So in for instance, we have a business coach, okay? Again, I'm just going to stick with it because that was my niche. They used a lot of other support people. They used social media people, they used graphics people, website branding, event planners. They used all kinds of different people to work in their business, right? I provided the customer service, the virtual events, and a few other things to my clients. That was my service offerings. So I made partners. I mean, I became partners with some of them, and not, it doesn't have to be even official partnership, but those were people that I was able to reach out to because I could say, oh, if you need a website, go to so and so. If you need social media, hire this person. And then that social media person, Jody or whatever her name would be, Jody would say, oh yeah, if you need virtual events or customer service, if you need whatever I offered, you need to call Tracy. And so we would refer business back and forth with our clients, and we would work on the same team. So that's an excellent way also to be able to get more business, because who's your contact is the strategic partner, and they're doing the referrals. So you are just accepting the phone calls, right? And then as people start to call you, you can let them know to call those other people as well. It's a really high level way of getting really good clients as well. So and with anybody you're working with or anybody you have worked with, make sure that you're collecting testimonials, reviews, recommendations on LinkedIn, all of those kinds of things, because that's your social proof. You want to see that online. You want to be the person who's recommended in the Facebook groups, right? And collect those kinds of things. When somebody says you have to call Tracy, Tracy's amazing, you really want to make sure that you're working with her for this particular problem or for any problem that you have. And you want to be able to collect those things. Get really good at something specific. There's nothing wrong with offering customer service, or something that seems very assistant-y, or very very simple kind of a service, but be exceptional at it. If you do provide exceptional customer service, tell people that. Don't just tell them, I can handle your scheduling and I can handle your emails, I can clear out your inbox. If you're really really good at email management and you stay on top of things and keep things clear and on point, and you're great at communication, and that, get really really good at it. Okay, be good at it and tell people that you're good at it. I think it's really important. Put your contact info everywhere, on every single web page, your blog post, obviously, on your, that's on your website as well. Social media profiles, let people, you don't have to put your phone number on it, but you should have some area where people can schedule a call with you. I don't like it when people call me directly. I'm happy to have them schedule a call with me. I'm a very busy person, and so whatever I'm working on as an introvert, I don't like to stop what I'm doing to be interrupted by somebody else, unless it's an emergency, of course. But I'm happy to have somebody book a time into my calendar. And so that is the link that has to be everywhere for you, right? Put that everywhere that you can see it, so that people can reach out to you, so you're not, again, having to do that outreach all the time. And put your pricing online, especially as an introvert. If you're worried about, talking budget with people, or even having them have to, kick your tires and ask you all kinds of questions, describe your services well and put your pricing right there. Make sure it's clear. Make sure it talks about budget. And if you can, work within people's budgets and that kind of thing. Let your website do some of the selling work for you. As an introvert, this is one tool that I think, if there's anything that you take away from today's session, go and do that, because it will make a world of difference in the people who are going to contact you and the people, the conversations that you'll have. And then one little last thing, is, you can join a team and subcontract to get your confidence up if you're an introvert and you don't like to market, but don't do this forever. I want you to find your own clients. I want you to do the work that you're best at. And on a team, you're always at the mercy of the lead VA, I should say, the lead VA works with and likes, and it's their ideal client, it's their ideal tasks. So although I say do that, it helps you to get your confidence up. But I want you to not do that as a forever thing. I think that that's not a good idea. And then get some support to learn a few techniques if you still feel anxious about anything. Obviously, that's something that I do. I help people with some strategy. I help people with action steps and that type of thing when they are feeling anxious about anything in their business, but particularly about selling. So certainly you can reach out to me and see if I'm a good fit for that as well. And find a tribe or a partner to connect with on a regular basis. I think we oftentimes try to do too much ourselves. And a support network is absolutely essential for virtual assistants. I think it's essential for everybody, but certainly for us. I want you to share your struggles. I want you to share your successes. I want you to ask for specific advice. It's really important to be able to build your abilities and your skills and your practice being able to do the things that you have a little bit of difficulty with, and having some trusted people around you. To me, that is just absolutely invaluable. And never forget that you need to do what is right for you. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, or the advice you get, or the trainings you take, or even out of today. If any of the things feel uncomfortable to you and they really don't make sense to you, now sometimes it's just because we need a little push, but it's way easier just to find something that really does feel okay for you, because that's what you're going to repeat, right? That's what you're going to do. And that is the thing that will ultimately work for you. If you want my help to figure out how to get clients as an introvert, definitely reach out to me, Tracy at yourvamentor.com. I've helped hundreds of VAs through their challenges and got them on their way to the next thing. I would love to do the same thing for you. I do private coaching, and my new mastermind, the Virtual Circle, registration is open for that now. And maybe one of those options is right for you, or maybe you just need a little bit of confidence. That's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for tuning in to learn how to become a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.